Welcome to everyone hearing the sound of my voice, and in particular, those of you who are UGC girls. This transmission is for you. How do we get over feeling jealous? How do we get over it, UGC? We get over feeling jealous by understanding that no one is robbing us of anything. And by that, I mean the jealousy that we feel is that we lack something that someone else has, and we lack this something because someone else has it. That's really what jealousy is. You have something that I want, and my life is miserable because you have it. You see how crazy it sounds? But that's how we feel. That's the root of jealousy in itself. So we're walking around to and fro and up and down in the earth like Lucifer, making deals and bargaining with other people to try to win favor and fame and fortune and all of this stuff. And when you get those things, is it ever enough? Are the accolades and the validation ever enough? Because we've all gotten it and we still feel like crap. We want to be acknowledged. We want to be treated fairly. And we're not seeing that around us. But we still are waiting for people to treat us fairly and to acknowledge us and to think that we're beautiful and to think that we're attractive and to think that we matter. And it's not coming fast enough. And sometimes it does come and we don't even believe it. So our heads are spinning because we're getting the validation that we don't believe, and then we don't get the validation that we want, right? Because we get the validation. Haven't you experienced people pitying you and saying, I like your look, you're fearfully and wonderfully made? Isn't that the saying that they say? And it's supposed to fortify us, right? We get inclusions every now and then. We get people who feel sorry for us enough to say, come on in, let me let you borrow this outfit. You can come have drinks with us and be a part of the in crowd for the day. We've all experienced that. And then we still go home and we look in the mirror and we have to face what we are. We have to face who and what we are, and we have to face what we feel about ourselves. So jealousy is this poison. It's normal, but it's not natural. As I've said before, there's a lot of things we do that are normal, but it's not natural. And we have to come to some conclusions about what we feel about other women and the poisonous advice that we get from other women, the poisonous validation that we get from other women. Because the cure for every woman to every other woman is just be beautiful and nothing else will matter. Just be attractive and everything else will figure itself out. All you have to do is look good and look classy, and men will fawn over you and love you and protect you and provide for you. Isn't that the message that we hear all the time? And it gets frustrating for a lot of us because there are parameters within that too that we can't ever meet. There are parameters that we will never biologically be. So we're always feeling left out with the solutions that other women give us. Never feeling like, okay, I have a grasp on this thing. Like I can really do this thing and I can really accomplish this thing. What women give other women is worry. Let me repeat that. What women give to other women is the concept of worry and inadequacy. This is all you will hear from anybody who's talking about you having a better life, and especially if it's centered around being with a man. She is going to feed you some narrative that you are inadequate in some way. And then you got to fight with all of that. You got to fight with your insecurities. You got to fight with the fact that you're never going to make the mark. And then UGC, we have to deal with the fact that a lot of these women are sales pitching us and pretending to have value, pretending to see themselves as valuable. And I've said this before and I'll say it again, this pretty privilege thing, they're riding your back. They're putting the saddle on your back to assume that. Where does privilege come from if somebody's not losing out here? In order for there to be privilege, someone has to be losing. So they need you for the contrast. And we're constantly being fed this comparison thing. So if I'm over here doing this thing and I'm a responsible adult and I'm paying my taxes and I work hard and all that stuff, if I'm not 150 pounds or 120 pounds, I've still lost. Or if I'm over here and I'm really, really pretty and I'm really young, but I only have a GD or an OnlyFans account, but I'm sultry and I'm sexy and all of that, I've lost a little bit over here too. So it's a back and forth. We're always pushed to the left and pushed to the right. No one wants us to settle down. No one wants us to settle into being comfortable with who we are. Women don't want you to be comfortable with who you are. And this is why we are jealous. This is why we carry jealousy. Because the narratives around us are always reminding us that we are not enough. Our mothers do this. Our first teachers about not being enough and not being adequate come from the women who give birth to us. Unfortunately, that's just what it is. So we have to face this thing where the person out of anybody else in the world who's supposed to give us unconditional love is now grooming us and telling us, you're not enough as you are. You need to be better. You need to look better. You need to act better. You need to try harder. You need to be like such and such and such and such. She feeds you the narrative of comparisons. Your mother does this. So you go out now looking for women to compare yourself to see if you're okay, to see if you're attractive enough. I tell y'all all on this platform over and over and over again that women don't know if they're attractive unless they're comparing themselves to other women too. We don't know what's quality unless we have two things to compare against one another. This is how people in general judge anything. And this is why there's always bias. And this is why we really don't know what value is. We really don't. We decide through contrast, through a comparisons, what is better and what is worse. As a standalone entity, no one knows if you're valuable or not. No one knows. How they get to know and how they decide if you are valuable or not is by comparing you to other women. And this is what women do. If you're skinny, you want to be fat. If you're fat, you want to be skinny. If you're tall, you want to be short. If you're short, you want to be tall. If you're light, you want to be brown. If you're dark, you want to be light. And on and on and on, the merry-go-round spins. Where we have just normalized not feeling adequate and not feeling good about ourselves. Because in our minds, Barbie doll wins. Barbie doll is intelligent. Barbie doll gets Ken. She gets the sports car and she gets the pool and she gets the fun. She gets to enjoy her life if she looks a certain way. But then we are back in the real world and women are doing things to alter themselves and they're hurting themselves and they're sharing their hurt and their pain with you. And the irony is a lot of you are like, well, so what, you lost a kidney? You're beautiful. So what, you ain't got no money. You're beautiful. So what, he left you or abused you? You're beautiful. You'll bounce back. This is the excuses we make when we see other women telling their story about how they're not feeling so good. A woman can tell you she's not feeling so good, but if she's attractive to you, you'll dismiss it. You'll say, what are you depressed about? What are you insecure about? As if she has no right to be because she's attractive, because she's beautiful. It's crazy how we normalize dysfunctional thinking. It's crazy how we worship and idolize women who are really in the same boat that we are. I tell you over and over again, UGC, that there's really no one to idolize. There's really no one to be jealous of. And that if you are jealous of her, it's because you don't have enough information about her. Jealousy comes from fantasy. Jealousy comes from our projection of our thoughts and our wants and our desires onto someone else. That's really all it is. Because there's always another side to this thing, another side to a woman's life outside of the designer clothes and the nice wigs and the pretty shoes and the events and the VIP lounge and all that stuff that you see. There's another side to that. There's always another side. And we glorify and we hold up these women who get objectified because of how they look. Because we want to be objectified too. We don't really see a problem in a woman being abused as long as she's attractive. If we're going to be honest. On this platform, we just deal with honesty. Right? A lot of us really dismiss the whole, she's falling down and say she'll get back up because she's cute. Well, we're not going to worry about her. She doesn't really have a problem like I do because she's pretty. So, her depression is just surface. It's just her needing attention. She's just bratting out. That's what we say about pretty girls who cry out. Who cry out and tell you that they're going through things, right? We constantly admire these women. I want to be her. I want to be pretty privileged. I want to be the pick-me. I want to be his type. Because his type is always winning, right? How many women have to get humiliated in public? How many of these pretty women have to get humiliated in public for you to understand that there's no one to be jealous of? How many of these women have to pick up the pieces of their lives and try to right the wrong in front of everybody for you to understand that there's really no one to be jealous of? Her problems are the same as yours, whether she's attractive or not. Her worries and concerns are the same as yours. The threat to her safety, her life and livelihood are the same as yours. So what does this mean for us? It means that we have to be careful and always be about our bottom line. That we have to think independently of the validation that we get from men or other women. We have to understand that those things are really delusions, illusions, and very conditional. Because when they're over you, sometimes they're over you and it gets real ugly when they're over you. When they're no longer enamored by you, when they're no longer fascinated with your beauty, it gets really ugly on the other side of that. And it happens to all of us. One day you are it, and the next day you aren't. It happens to all of us because emotions are always, UGC, emotions are always inconsistent. Inconsistent and unreliable. Why do you think you got to get married in the first place? Because emotions are inconsistent and unreliable. You can't determine or guarantee any emotion. Today I love you, and tomorrow I wake up and I don't know why I've ever been with you. Is a revelation a lot of us have gotten. Is a rude awakening a lot of us have gotten. We don't need to rely on men for our identity, for our sense of worth, and this is not a feminist rant, this is a human being thing I'm talking about. You're a human being. You're a human being first before you're his wife, before you're a mother, and before you're any title that people give you out here. So you want to protect that. You want to protect your individualism. Because once you stop becoming an individual, once you stop being an individual, that's when insanity sets in. Why does insanity set in, UGC? Because then we're doing what other people want us to do. We're thinking how other people want us to think. We're dressing how other people want us to dress. We're going places that other people want us to go. Our pursuits of happiness become what other people say it should be. And on and on and on it spins when we let go of our individuality. And it's so easy to do that with girlfriends and boyfriends and husbands and mothers and everybody in between. It's so easy to lose our identities. And this is what women offer you. They offer you to come over to this side and dress like us and be like us. Don't be yourself. Be like us, so that I can pull the rug from underneath you whenever I see fit, whenever I feel like it. When I'm not feeling you today, I can just say, you know what? Get out. You're exiled. You're not a part of the club anymore. You're not going to eat. We're not going to let you eat here anymore. You can't eat at this table anymore. This is what women provide other women with. Exclusivity, and then they yank the chain or they pull the rug from underneath you. So you feel special for a little while until she gets tired of you, until she's jealous of you, until you outpace her in any sort of way, and it could be your mother or your friend. Until you start outpacing her in any sort of way, everything is good. But when you step up and say, you know what, I'm going to improve my station in life. I'm going to improve my health. I'm going to improve me in the ways that I know I need to improve. Then she has an issue with you. Then you are a threat. Then jealousy sets in. Because now you're doing something and being something that she feels is going to threaten her status, her life, her livelihood. It's crazy. It's crazy how we succumb to these notions, these delusions. Jealousy is a very painful feeling. It's not fun. It's not fun. Because in that moment, you feel like you shouldn't exist. Like you're a waste. Like you should never have been born. Like, what's the point of you being here? You feel like a loser when you're jealous. So, what's normal about that? And why do we feel this way, UGC? Because we're not minding our business. We're not toiling our own soil that's underneath our feet. We think the grass is greener on the other side. And as I've said before in past lives that I've done, and past content, you bring you wherever you are. So the grass is never greener on the other side if you don't change. If you're the same person on this side of the grass and you just walk over to the other side, you're going to experience the same thing. There's not going to be any major shift there. You will have to deal with you no matter how nice the home is, no matter how nice the car is, no matter how nice your clothing is, no matter how good of an education you have, or all these trappings. You gotta deal with you. We're looking for an escape. We're looking for an excuse. The excuse that we're looking for, we want to feel better about being losers. UGC. I need for you to hit the like and subscribe button right now if you can. But we want to feel better about being losers. This is why you absorb content that says, you're not it. You'll never be it. And the best thing you could be is someone that I go to bed with on the third date. You love hearing that. Even though it frustrates you, it relieves you. When these men talk about so-called exotic women and who got what and who's this and who's that, and you know it ain't you, it frustrates you and relieves you at the same time. Because in your mind, you're like, well, there's nothing I could do about it. There's nothing I could do about it. So let me hear more about the things that I can't do anything about, because I find relief in that. It preoccupies me. I'm addicted to it. It entertains me. It gives me something else to focus on besides me feeling helpless. It makes me feel less insecure about feeling helpless, because I feel helpless. So if you're saying that I'm nothing, it's like I'm getting proof that I'm nothing, and I'm relieved by that, because then I don't got to try anymore. I don't have to think about me feeling less than anymore, or feeling like it's wrong to be less than anymore. I don't have to feel wrong about feeling less than, because you have validated the point that I am less than. You see the game? And this is why y'all are addicted to all of that. You love the gossip. You love to hear that you're nothing, because you agree with it. And then you want to turn around and be jealous of other women as if they have something that's stopping you from being everything that you could be. No woman has anything that's stopping you from being anything that you could be. Because anything that you could be is what you can be, is what you should be, is what you have the potential to be. So the only thing stopping you is your attention span and what you're focusing on and how you feel about yourself. Those are the things that stop you, not what another woman has. That's a joke, UGC. You're unattractive, so you decide to not try. You're unattractive, so you say he can pump and dump in me. There's no point in me trying to wait for anything else. Isn't that what we say? So he can use me. We say this. He can use me because I'm not good enough to hold out for anything better than being used. This is what we tell ourselves. And then we turn around and cry wolf. We turn around and get into this whole dissertation about other people's pathologies and the nature of men. When you walk into the bedroom giving up on yourself. You lay down on his bed giving up on yourself. But somehow he's to blame. Somehow you blame him. You're a co-conspirator, UGC. You co-conspired for your own demise. And that is the conclusion we have to come to. And that's what's fueling your jealousy. Your jealousy is really guilt that you don't show up for you like you're supposed to. That is what jealousy is. So we get over our jealousy by stop feeling guilty about ourselves and for ourselves. And we stop feeling guilt and the shame for ourselves by honoring who we are. By protecting our bodies, our minds, our souls. We protect ourselves. We sprinkle a little black girl magic and maybe a little white girl magic, a little red girl magic all over ourselves. We cover ourselves in our own words. UGC. This is what we have to do. We're waiting on everybody else to do it for us. And you got to stay prayed up. You have to stay prayed up. You're speaking spells over you and wondering why your life shows up the way it is. Jealousy is an easy fix. You get rid of that guilt that you have by saying, I'm the number one, the most important person in this realm, on this physical realm. Everyone comes after me. All right, UGC. Make sure you become Patreon members, and I'll talk to you again soon. Peace and love.